Why? Why did I choose intermittent fasting? So let me just break this even further down. Good afternoon, my name's Calvin Valentine, the creator of what? Live to make history. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about intermittent fasting. Yes, intermittent fasting. So let's break it down. What is intermittent fasting? Have you heard the term intermittent fasting? So breaking it down, intermittent fasting is basically fasting for periods of bouts and then you'd eat again. So you're not starving, you are not starving. So you're probably thinking, how can this benefit me? So intermittent fasting basically is used for weight loss, and it's also used to help reset the body. It has so many factors, and a lot of people use intermittent fasting. So how do I technically go about intermittent fasting? So intermittent fasting can be done into different intervals. You have 12 hours where you're not eating for 12 hours. You have the 16 hours, which is one I'm currently doing at the moment, and I'll break it down why I'm doing this phase. So you've got the 16 hours, you have the 24 hours, quite intense, and then you have the 36 hours. But I feel like that isn't very beneficial for myself as a bodybuilder to be fasting for 36 hours, for example. So during this period of time, as long as you are in a deficit and you're not eating anything during those intermittent phases where you're fasting, you should technically thoroughly, over a period of 4 to 6 to 8 weeks, to see results. Why did I choose intermittent fasting? So let me just break this even further down. So one of the reasons why I chose intermittent fasting, for two reasons. One, I had a photo shoot coming up and I wanted to lose a little bit of body fat, so I wanted to go on that intermittent phase. And two, if you didn't already know, I suffer from IBS. I am a serious, just my stomach, just thinking about it, I am a serious IBS sufferer. IBS stands for irritable bowel syndrome, and sometimes I can be eating foods that avoids it, but certain days it's still going to crank up. So there's literally nothing I can do about it. And because I'm a bodybuilder and I eat every few hours, my gut doesn't have time to recover and rest. So I use that intermittent fasting phase as a time to reset my gut, to reset the system so it's able to rest. Does that make sense? Because think about it, as a bodybuilder, speaking from my personal experiences, you're eating meals day in, day out, every 3 hours. Before you know it, years has passed where you're not giving that gut area time to rest and recover. And because I'm an IBS sufferer, it just makes it 10 times worse. So I just thought to myself, you know what? Make new changes. To see change, you have to be the change you want to see. So make new changes. Try and actually rest that gut area. I've not rested it in years and years and years. I've been eating every 3 hours for the longest periods of time. So I've been eating every 3 hours for years and years and years. So this was the time to put my foot down and see if this will actually help moving myself forward. I am week 4 into this intermittent fasting phase, and of course the same principles apply. That when you're avoiding those high glycemic index foods that raises or spikes my insulin, so like the white rice, the pasta, too much bread, those things are kept at a minimum, because like I keep saying, you still want to live your best life, of course. So how did I feel going into this intermittent phase? Of course, it's going to take time to get used to. Once I started, the body has to get used to the adaptation of restricting foods at certain times, but it does have its benefits. So this isn't really about myself. This is about somebody out there who's looking to, lose weight over a period of time and continue to scale during the long run. It's all about longevity. Trying to help somebody out there who may be thinking of going into intermittent fasting. So these are the pros and these are the cons. But before we even go into that, always make sure you are avoiding, the processed foods, the sweeteners, the sugars, those fizzy drinks that are high in calories. You want to avoid that anyway. We should know this already. All those foods, all those examples, all those negative artificial sweeteners that I literally just gave examples for, they all have high fructose corn syrup in them, very high in fat, so make sure you avoid those kind of artificial sweeteners. Leading back to my personal experiences with intermittent fasting, the pros, of course, helps with obviously body fat. My body fat did go down. It took me time to adjust, obviously. My body fat went down, but in the long term, being a bodybuilder that I am I going to consistently do intermittent fasting forever or for a long period of time? Of course not, because my body is highly dependent on protein synthesis, and I need to be putting that into the body every few hours. Yes, there's going to be people saying this, there's going to be people saying that. Everybody has different opinions, and this, you can never really get the profound way. You just have to see what works for you. But with me, going into that's not a long-term thing I can physically do, because like I still said, I need protein synthesis. I need to be eating consistently as well. So this is like a short-term thing for myself. On the other hand, somebody who's just trying to lose weight, or let's just take me out of the equation. Let's just say someone who's between 40 and 50 years old, right? Want to lose body fat, want to get the health benefits from it. Intermittent fasting may be more beneficial for you than as for me, because I'm trying to preserve and keep that muscle mass, where your goal is just to, become more healthier, lose, body fat that can, decrease cholesterol and has so many benefits. So that could be more beneficial for you. So going back into my personal experiences as a bodybuilder, I'm sure other bodybuilders can relate. Everyone can have different opinions. With metabolism itself, well, let me just break this down. What is metabolism? So metabolism is basically the process your body converts what you eat times drink into energy. So for example, growing up as a kid, there was always that kid that always used to say, I can't gain weight because I've got a fast metabolism. One of the main reasons for that is because mainly they may have just been an ectomorph. More than anything, that might just be their body type. They may just be more susceptible to not gaining weight. So back to metabolism itself, my personal experiences on it, as well as, like I keep saying, you can try and do your own theory on it and see if it works for you. Everybody's different. It did slow my metabolism down. Obviously the whole process of me trying to gain size at the same time and trying to keep muscle, it's a duration of constantly burning during the day. So I did feel like my metabolism was slowed down. For example, when I broke my fast and I had my first meal, I wouldn't be hungry for another, let's just say, 4 or 5 hours sometimes. And usually I eat every 3 hours. I just wouldn't be hungry, and then I only have sometimes only 2 meals in, and then the 8 hours is done and I have to go back into fasting again. So personally, in the long run, and a lot of people has actually backed me on this as well, you have to do an experience on it. Being a bodybuilder myself, I don't feel like this will be beneficial for me in the long run. Yes, you can do it in the short run here and there, but not consistently. If I want to consistently maintain size and consistently be in that bodybuilding kind of frame and category, I can't be intermittent fasting every time. So with me, I find what works for me is the constant burning, right? Everybody's different. And how my body continues to function well is to consistently burn and eat consistently during the day. Doesn't intermittent fasting defy that? It can be argued, because everybody's different. Everybody's metabolism may be slightly different. You may benefit more from not fasting, or you may benefit more from fasting. But as a bodybuilder's perspective, can I seriously be doing this in the long run? Of course not. But once in a while, to help reset my gut, because I seriously suffer from IBS, so it will help me as well. So it's a 50-50. It's a 50-50. There's no magic potion to this or that. If you want to consistently lose weight, intermittent fasting may be the benefit for you. Of course, start low. I would say start with 12 hours, and every day try and increase it by an hour so your body adapts slowly to it. Try and stay on a 16/8 and see how that works for you. But like I said, stay consistent over a period of time, anywhere between 4 and 8 weeks. If you're a bodybuilder, this can be 50-50, but it does have its benefits and it does have its slight cons. So wrapping this up, if you're going to take anything from this, take this tip. Keep your meals whole meals and refined. Keep away from those artificial sweeteners. Also remember to increase your fiber intake. Why? Because it reduces diabetes and it controls your blood glucose levels. And finally, is intermittent fasting beneficial? So if I had clients, yes, I could easily recommend them on intermittent fasting, but it depends on the client. If they're bodybuilders, it's a 50-50. You got to look closely at their lifestyle factors. As I keep saying, let's go out there and let's live the best lives for ourselves. Why? Because we have one life. Let's go out there, let's continue to live. Let's continue to live to make history.